Wow,
Welcome.
we're here. Woohoo!
We're live.
We're not in Bali. But we're so excited. Are we like too light, you think?
I don't know.
Anyway, we're here. We're so excited. We are the mother-daughter dynamic duo.
I am Coach Rochelle.
And I am Coach Alicia Schwartz.
And we are mother-daughter
Dynamic duo. And what a duo we are.
Oh, for sure. Just come to our home.
You'll know. Spend a few moments with us. So anyway, we are excited to be here. We have a very special guest. You're going to love her. We do. And you're going to learn a lot about her and her story. And what else, Mom?
I think we're going to go to
our video
intro.
Nim, take it away.
Okay, we're back.
Yay.
Thank you, Nim.
Thanks, Nim.
So before we ever start anything, we love to always ground ourselves with our guests. And I usually pick out something from Debbie Ford's book, Your Holiness. I can't pick it up because you won't see it. So with that being said, this is what I really meditated, and then I go through the book, and this is what came up: healing your holy pain. Dear God, kiss me when I'm sad, hug me when I'm alone, comfort me when I'm grieving, and whisper sweet words in my ears when I need encouragement, and cheer me on as I go after my dreams. Wow, what better way, right?
No better way.
Wow, that's awesome. So,
and it's perfect for our guest.
Yes. So
who you're going to love in a minute.
Introduce?
So we are excited to meet Miss Sarah O'Brien Hammond. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I'm going to let her, and we're going to let her talk about who she is.
Oh, she has
what she does,
yeah,
what she's involved with in this world, and how she gives back who she is every day. And we're so, so, so happy you're here.
Hi, Alicia. Hi, Rochelle. Thank you for having me.
We are so happy to have you.
It's a gift.
I was backstage just like grinning from ear to ear. Like, you guys are so sweet, and like the dynamic and the mother-daughter, and I have 2 daughters, and I want to go deep every day of the week. And they're just like, can we just tell jokes? Like, can we please just like pretend we're farting? Do we have to dive into it every day? And I feel like I want to just put myself in your little duo, and because I feel like we can go deep and you guys would welcome it. Yeah. So anyways, I'm so glad to be here. All that to say, thank you for having me.
Oh, and guess who's here too?
Yes, Diana. We have another special lady.
Diana
who connected us.
Exactly. Yes. Thank God for Diana. We love you, Diana.
Yes, we do. We love you. All right.
So tell everybody about who you are and really what
your organization, everything, because I want everybody to know that there's always a place for women to go. And I think
a safe place.
Yes. And I think because of who you are, I think it's just such a sacred space for women. So I'm just thrilled to hear again all about you, our special friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love that quote. What a beautiful way to start the conversation, because we all need a safe space. We all need a place where we can drop our shoulders, have a sigh of relief that we're not alone, that we are side by side others, fellow sisters who are going through the same things, the same struggles. And so, or similar struggles, or at the very least, just holding space for you to be. It doesn't, they don't even have to have walked in the shoes that you've walked in, but yeah. So it's, rewind about 5 years ago, I live in New York City with my 2 teenage daughters and my husband. And I came like out of the womb, like ready to go. Like I was ready to kick ass. Oh, can you swear on here?
Of course.
Okay.
Just
Oh, yeah, please.
do you?
We're New Yorkers, by the way.
I know. That's why I feel like
here.
kindred,
Everything's welcomed.
kindred spirits. So yeah, I just feel like I came out of the womb ready to kick ass and take names. And I didn't really stop. I went, I went to college, I graduated college, I moved to New York City, I worked really hard, I got a great job, I worked really hard, I made a lot of money, I met my husband, we had kid number 1, worked up more, harder, had kid number 2, and just kept going, right? Like this like hustle and this grind. And somebody actually said something so eloquent to me today that I was like, it blew my mind. I was like living outside of my body for all those years, because you can't really be embodied when you're living this hustle and grind mentality. Like it actually, like you're just not connected to yourself. And so, and this woman said to me, yeah, it's sort of like you're in this male dominated environment, and that embodies you, and your being gets replaced with that. And I was like, oh my goodness, that was so eloquently said. Like, I feel like I was replaced with something that wasn't me. So in any event, at 42, I sort of hit a wall and was like, whoa, I'm not sure I want to live like this anymore. Like, I don't think that this hustle and grind mentality is really serving me. And I had a little bit of an awakening. And in speaking with other women, they felt similarly, like they felt there was more out there, that there was life could be done differently, that there was lots of different perspectives and different thoughts. And we just were looking for expansion, and I didn't know where to turn. Like, I was like, what does that even mean? Is that personal development? Is that, professional development? What is that? And so I just started drinking and eating like anything I could get my hands on, healers and coaches and therapists and guides. And I was just like hungry to learn, how can life be done differently? Like, I know that like I can do and achieve success differently than this hustle and grind out of body experience. And so, I did all of this work, and a lot of women came along and they were like, I want in on this. Like, I want to expand and be in a safe space where I can explore all these different things and talk about these really important things that are top of mind for women, but not found in mainstream conversations, right? Like everybody's tight-lipped about like sex or menopause or like mental health or depression or, drinking too much wine or, happiness or not having, intimacy with your partner. I mean, all this shit that we're all thinking about,
Right.
talking about it, right? Because God forbid we show any cracks.
Yep. God forbid.
God forbid you show your vulnerability in any way.
God forbid.
Right.
And so that was sort of like the, I think that was the requirement to be a member of the Now, was like, okay, if you're going to join this community, you got to promise to show your cracks. Not your butt.
Literally. No, just kidding.
And so I formed this community really like out of this necessity of feeling like I live in one of the biggest cities in the world, but I couldn't find a safe and judgment-free space that was talking about the shit that matters. When you go to dinner with someone and it's so topical and you're like,
oh God,
I could pull my eyelashes out. This is so boring.
Yes, absolutely.
And
1,000%.
a million times over.
Back to the deep conversations. Like, I don't always have to be deep, but I just don't want to be out to dinner with some friends with my kids not there talking about my kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they're good. Everybody's fine. We don't like that's that topic. Check. Let's move on. And so, really wanted to just create a space where women could come and be able to talk about these things in a judgment-free and safe space. And it was really cathartic. Like, I sort of didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like, I had this big launch party. All these women came and they're like, so what's the network of women? And I was like, it's a community. And they're like, okay, what are you going to do? And I'm like, we're going to do community. Like, I didn't know. And then, 5 years later, it's weekly programming, it's retreats, it's summits, it's workshops, it's coaching. It's like morphed into this beautiful dynamic global community that's digital and in real life, that's there to serve women professionally and personally and talk about the things that matter most. Like, that's it. And when you go to a place and someone speaks their truth, and you look and you see someone else be able to release a sigh, like something they've been holding.
Yep.
And they're able to drop their shoulders and release and say, oh, I thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
And to have, it literally could make me cry every time I think about it. And it happens at every event. Like, we just had a coffee talk today and we were talking about decluttering, but like, people were talking about how it changed their life. And the member who was running this was talking about how she's changed the lives of these people from simply decluttering and what these transformations have had. And we were like almost crying because it was like so moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not always deep. Like, we have little coffee chats about decluttering. It might get a little teary-eyed. But, and then we talk about really some important stuff, where someone might say, I haven't been intimate with my partner in a year. And that's a really vulnerable thing to say.
Yeah.
But
And nobody talks about that. Everyone's like, oh,
How is your husband or your partner? Oh, phenomenal.
Great.
Everybody's great. Just look on social. You'll see how great we are.
Go to dinner with us. This one's on the phone. They're not paying attention to each other.
Like, it's really on something. And so these women, they show up for each other. Like, I just have the pleasure of starting this and leading it, but like, Di is a member, and the people that show up to these to the events and hold this space for each other, I'm just in awe. Like, I just show up and I'm like, they do all the work, and it's just such a beautiful thing. But I think everyone's just so very happy and grateful that there's a space where this exists, because it's really it's quite rare. And so that was founded 5 years ago, and it's been a really exciting journey. And then I left my corporate job last May, and that's been super exciting because I've been able to continue to scale the network of women and also be able to scale my coaching practice and my recruiting practice. So that's been like, it's been a fun, wild ride, and I can't wait to see what's in store for us.
I'm so excited. I really want to join.
Me too.
Yes! Oh my God, it's so good to have you.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Are they all from New York, or
All
is it
over?
all over?
Yeah, it's all over. We have folks across the US. We have folks in Canada. We have folks in Europe. It's an amazing, just a super dynamic group of women. We have single women. We have widowed women. We have partnered women. We have women who have children. We have women who are childless by choice. We have women who are childless not by choice. It's like different socioeconomic classes, different races and ethnicities. So it's like beautiful, right? Because that's where real, true expansion happens, when you put yourselves in a room that's not filled with other bobbleheads of yourself.
Yep.
100%.
Oh God, it's so fascinating.
And it's hard, when you get into a community like that. I know for us, when we were in our community, Debbie Ford's community at the time, that was many, many years ago. After she passed, it was like a whole nother world of, wait, we were just in community for 20 years, and then it shifted, and we have still wanted to be part of community because it's just something that is called in our soul.
Chloe wants to be part of this.
Chloe agrees. Chloe
wants to be part of this
wants to
community.
be part of the women's group.
She is like, I need community too. Don't leave a girl out.
Don't forget me.
But no woman gets left alone. That's like the mom. No one gets left alone. It's really, shocking how prevalent, I guess I shouldn't be so shocked, how prevalent it is that women don't have the community. Like
It
Yeah.
is,
I,
isn't it?
I,
Isn't it?
I ask that question a lot. Like, do you have a community where I was just talking to a woman today. She lives in Rochester. I was like, do you have a community around you where you talk about these things, where you gather and where you learn and you feel expansive? And she's like, yeah, no. And I'm like, oh gosh, like I'm so blessed. I was on a
Yeah.
call last night with one of my mentors, and she's like, was asking me about my sort of board of directors, if you will, my personal board of directors. And I was like, I am so blessed because I have a community that sort of functions like my board of directors. Like they have no idea. Like Di, actually, she's on, those of you, she's on the Facebook commenting and she's a member, but she said,
She wants Chloe to meet Frankie. Okay, that's what she wants.
oh yeah, she does, of course, of course. Like they just show up in these ways. Like yesterday was one of those days, as you guys know, as entrepreneurs too, that like I just sort of had a day that I was like, what did I do? I left my corporate job. I left this like, pretty big salary. And it was one of those days. And then yesterday, literally, I walk out of my bedroom and there's this beautiful bouquet from Di.
She's
And
She is
she
the
is
best.
such a
the
she's a
best.
love.
And she says, like, your work you're doing is so impactful. Like, you don't forget that. And it was like, like the quote that you read before we got on.
Yes.
Like, it's like kismet, right? It's like meant to happen. The signs, and you're like, thank you. I know struggle will come. Struggle is very healthy. And the beautiful other side of struggle is, resilience, and it's abundance, and it's gratitude, and it's accomplishment. It's like, perspective. There's all these amazing things on the other side of struggle, but it was a struggle yesterday. I was like, whoa.
Well, anytime you have to struggle,
Yes,
you can
please.
just give us a shout.
I
We
will.
hold your hand and tell you you're okay no matter
We
what.
hold a safety net.
And that struggle is part of the game. But
But it's also for us women to know that we can come to whoever it is, you, Diana, whatever,
whoever,
and just say, I'm having such a shitty day. Do you have a few minutes? I don't want to dump on you, but I just want to share my shit with you.
Yes.
And they go, you're welcomed. Come on.
Because at the end of the day, what is it all about anyway, right? It's about the heart and connecting and, finding the place where you can do that. And, all the other little conversations with people, you appreciate the ones that like we're having right now.
Yes.
You actually appreciate it even more
Being
because the
vulnerable.
other ones are just like, oh, this is just part of the daily life of meeting people on the surface. And that's fine too.
Yep, totally. They serve their purpose too, but it is really, and it's so true. Like once you're vulnerable, I feel like I was on the phone all day yesterday. I was on a call with another member, actually at the beginning of the day at 9:00, and I was like, yeah, it's just one of those days. She's another entrepreneur in Playa de Carmen in Mexico, and I just said, it's one of those days, and she's like, oh, let me tell you. And she's like, I had this workshop that I had thought it was going to be the stars and the moon, and nobody showed up. And then I did this, and this didn't work. And it's like you don't hear those things enough, because all you see again on social is sold out, wait list,
Right.
Blah blah blah. I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
It is bullshit. It is. I agree with you 100%. It is bullshit.
So
And
it's nice to be around others that are like, yes, like, this does
And I
happen.
apologize, Chloe's in this.
No,
I don't know.
Chloe's
She
we're the dog lover.
hears you and she just wants to meet you and just be with you because
Chloe, I'll see you soon.
she picks up on energy and she's just like, I like it. I want to play. That's what she's doing right now. I want to play with Sarah.
That's okay.
and
Come over here.
yeah.
Come here. Come
But
say hi.
it's so true because, I have I used to do a lot of videos, especially through COVID, not only for everybody, but for myself as well. And then after a while, I just had to leave it. I had to get away from everything and I had to decompress because I felt it was all bullshit. The people were only showing one side of themselves. And some of them I really knew. And I would think, are you kidding me? Really?
Right.
Oh, God. You know what I'm saying? So finding a community that can hold space for you, it's worth £1,000,000 of gold. It really is.
And just knowing that this conversation, when people listen, they're going to be like, wow,
Yeah.
if they don't have a community,
Right.
they can have one now. You
Right.
know what I mean? They can find you and, join and be a part of it. And that's why we do what we do, because we love people like you that are doing things to make a difference for people to feel safe, vulnerable, and heard.
Ugh, well, what you're doing is amazing, right? It's all about lifting each other up, and we
Yeah.
all do rise when we lift one another up. And
Without a
if
doubt.
if if we could just come from that place, and I recognize that, like, it's complicated, and people come at it from a competition standpoint because of shit, right? Like, oftentimes it's scarcity, and it's a lot of things that contribute to that. But if we all sometimes fall into that. I'm not exempt from that. There are times that I, find myself sometimes going down this scarcity of, like, is there going to be enough for me? And
Yes.
there is, right? And
Yeah.
no one's exempt from it, but you just have to silence it a little bit when you hear it coming up. And like yesterday, I felt that a little bit. Like, I'm like, did I make a mistake? Is this the right move? Am I going to be successful? And you just have to honor that your path and your journey, and recognize that you're going to get there, and leaning on the people, like you said, like leaning on the people that are going to hold you up.
And what's so
Yeah.
nice is the universe showed you, because Diana got you the flowers
That's
to once
right.
again go,
Oh
of
my
course
God.
you're doing the right thing.
You don't even know. I'm like, it was just brought so much warmth to my heart. And it was, again, confirmation. It's like
Yeah.
when you get that confirmation, and really, like, the work that I do coaching with women is really that connection to self. And when people said, um, connection to self is so important. And I'm like, what, WTF, like, connection to self? Like, what is that? What are they talking about? Like, I just thought it was another language, because I was so disconnected from self. And now knowing that, like, your self is your greatest compass, like knowing your gut and your intuition and your soul is the answer. It's the keeper of all the answers.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And if we stopped looking externally for all the answers, and stop thinking that something externally is going to solve it for us, and actually look inside, the world would be such a different place,
Oh my
right?
God.
Yes.
If everyone could take the journey inside and realize that the journey is within, and all parts of you need to be loved and embraced, the world would be an authentic place, a real place.
But
And
the consumerism doesn't want us to have that, because
No.
God forbid, then we would stop buying. And they want us to be unconscious consumers, because
Yes.
when we're unconscious and disconnected from self, we consume. And it's, this unconscious consumption that keeps the economy moving in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
But when you really start asking yourself, like, what purpose is that serving? Like, do I need that blouse? Do I need, X, Y, and Z? And really just looking inward. But I didn't understand that for a long, long, long time. So if people are listening, like, yeah, lost me, connection to self, like I'm not sure what the hell language you're speaking. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. And I always say, just start with stillness. Like, I don't even use the M word, because meditation is so it paralyzes people. So I
Yeah.
just say, because people always say, like, I do it wrong. And I'm like,
Yes.
well,
I don't know if I'm doing it right.
Yes.
no wrong way to do it. We'll start with that. But if that's intimidating to you, like, just create some stillness, and do some, deep listening, like really just see what comes up. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think if we just gave ourselves the gift of time and stillness, I think our compass would really show us the way. But and I think we talked about this before too, like I ask my heart a lot. Like, I don't always know. I often don't know what my heart wants, because I was really disconnected. And it's a new, this has only been a few years that I've started to really embody, really be in self.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning what it is that lights me up and what it is um, that I'm really after
But I
with you.
think that's just the journey, right? I think that's the journey of just opening and
Yeah.
opening and opening the layers and the layers,
Eh,
because things change, as you know, things change all the time and you're changing.
Yeah, and I think that once you expose yourself to all of this, you can't go back.
Yeah,
You
for
just
sure.
cannot go back. So we keep on learning and we go to different levels of learning and the depths of it until we can authentically say to ourselves, okay, I got this. I got that.
And
That's interesting.
And I
You
also
know?
think too, it's like, I think when you learn the lessons or the patterns that we create all the time, you know what I'm talking about. It's
Mhm.
like when we learn them, we feel so free, right? Because we know we learned it because it's not showing up anymore. Right?
Right.
And so
Something else shows up.
exactly, but that's the continuously the
Yeah.
opening, the opening, the opening, which is exciting because we have community
Right.
to share.
Correct.
So it's
Yeah,
So,
it is really beautiful. It is so true. Like it is, we just are continuing. It's like the lotus flower, right? Like you just see it
yes.
open and then that's us. And so, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like there's no turning back. Like it's so beautiful. But it also makes you realize that the folks that maybe you used to
Yes.
associate
I
with,
know where you're going. Yeah.
yeah, it's there are seasons for people. And I think that that's
100%.
I think it's okay to feel that if a relationship's not serving you, and you
yes.
don't have to like create this big
No.
taboo of like I'm breaking up with you, right?
Right.
It can be a very, just unspoken but intentional shift that maybe there's others like that. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, like you like clean out your Rolodex. It's like it's sort of like spring cleaning, and there are people that can come along with you, right? There are people that are
Absolutely.
able to come along and are doing the work themselves in whatever capacity, but there will be those who won't get it,
Nope.
Nope.
and that's
Correct.
been that's hard too, right? Like there's
Yeah.
friends that I'm just kind of
100%.
like, wow, once again I'm on the phone with you and I haven't talked to
Yep.
you. You're not asking me any questions.
It's so true.
You're
My
speaking to the
Rolodex,
choir.
my
Go ahead.
Rolodex is empty.
Yeah.
So I'm now recreating. So it's
Exactly.
cool. It's exciting.
And I also think, I've had that a lot in my life where I've had friends that I've had for like 30 years and I'm not friends. And even though, at first you question, like, oh my God, how can I not? I mean, I grew up and you realize that you're just not in alignment. It's just that
Yep.
simple. It's not it's not this
Nope.
big thing. It's just
No.
time to move on in love. It's not a bad thing. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of weight on leaving relationships if it's not serving
Serving.
your highest.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It's part of growing. I think we have to
Yes.
create a new way of looking at a relationship if it does end. You know what I mean? Instead of it's
Or
bad.
just continuing to evaluate. I had dinner with a friend last week, and she said to me, it's a newer friend, and she said to me, like, yeah, whenever people talk about best friends, like, oh, my best friends, blah, 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 she's like, I never really had that.
Mm,
And she said, I've realized she's probably my age, maybe a little older, maybe she's in her 50s. She said, I realized that I need to be really clear on what I need from a friend. And so she had like 4 or 5 people that were on sort of her list that she called. And she said, like, you mean a lot to me. This is what I need from a friendship. And she
yeah.
said, I need consistency and I need connection. So I need to connect with you at least once a week. And it
Yeah.
can be a person or it can be on a video or whatever, but we need to check in and I need to know that you're there. And
Yeah.
also if shit goes south, like I just need to know that I can count on you.
Yeah.
And the people she reached out to, I think only 2 had the capacity and the bandwidth to do
Yeah.
that. And she wasn't sad by it.
Yeah.
And she was like, it actually gives you a sense of what's the word? Like it's almost freeing because
Yes.
like you're like, okay, Alicia's not capable of this right now. Okay, noted. Now I don't have to put my effort and energy into a relationship. I know she's not going to give it back to me. So if we could just be honest and be like, hey, Di, this is what I need. I need you once a week. I need us to connect once a week. And I need to know that like you got me if things go bad, you know, and that's it. And if we could just actually create whatever your definition of friendship is, but just be on the same page. That would in itself be fucking revolutionary.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have a friend that I've had for so many years. We grew up together, and we've had, you know, the revolving, you know, relationship where we come in, we come out. But I can say today that we can tell each other, hey, listen, if I get triggered, I want you to just like make a peace sign. Or if you trigger me, you know, we can have the dialogue that we can communicate effectively where she hears me and I hear her. We might not like some things, but we know how to work with each other after 35 years.
And again, I think the biggest thing is communication.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's the big, and most people don't know how to communicate.
It is. You're so right. You nailed it. That's what it is. It really is about how can we effectively communicate? How can we effectively say our needs?
Yes.
What about that? Right? Like, I mean, talk about everywhere, sexually, you know, platonically, in the workforce. How, I mean, that is a whole nother, right? Like, and a whole nother topic, but it's really like, how can we just express our needs and just find compatibility and alignment? And if it's not there, guess what? There's another person in this world that is that person for you. Yeah. And so there are moments where you might feel like, I don't really feel like I have a lot of friends right now. But guess what? Like now we're at this stage of life, less is more.
Yeah. Quality.
In everything. Less is more. Like I'm like, I want less things. I want less clothes. I want, you know, less friends. I want like, you know, really important friends. And then, you know, then you don't have to waste your goddamn energy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like some of us are wasting our energy on so many people that aren't reciprocating it. And then you get resentful. Yeah. And then you just kind of like, what's the point of this?
Yeah. You're not fulfilled. You're not getting.
You're supposed to fill you up. And you're supposed to fill somebody else up.
Yeah.
But, and I feel it's interesting at the now, I feel like a lot of the women don't refer like their friends. Because because this is like this sacred container.
Yeah. It's so funny you say that. That's hilarious. It is true.
It's like, it's totally cool. I get it. Right. Yep. Like, but, and so it's really interesting. I'll be like, you know, there's bonuses if you refer people and they're like, no, this is my space.
Yeah. I don't want my friend coming. I'm good right now with you.
Yeah. Because, you know, truth be told, there are friends that, you know, where there's shame and judgment. Yeah. And, that sucks.
It does. It totally does.
And I do think, you know, because we're mother and daughter team, and I think that because I feel like I can share anything and everything with this beautiful being, that it's easier in relationships with other people because of that foundation. You know, it's work in progress. So it's not like we just woke up and I was like, wow, you know, we've had to do a lot of work together.
And I think we do still,
but it's not. But it's quick. It's quick.
It's very quick.
I mean, we can get in an argument in 1 second and then boom,
we're finished.
Yesterday, she's telling me to, and I'm like, oh, that was really sweet of you. Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
But then I love that you guys said, and you said that last time we chatted, is that like you're able to move through things a lot quicker, right? Because there's this beautiful trust and this beautiful safety with each other that, you know, it's like, yeah, that really pissed me off. And we're gonna move on. Like that wasn't cool, but like, all right. And I
told her when she tells me to F off, I said, instead of saying F off, fuck off, why don't you say, hi, fruitcake. I love you, fruitcake.
Right.
You're my fruitcake. You know, like it doesn't, because she comes from the potty mouth. You know, she's the
New York accent.
The New Yorker comes out.
I really try.
And I'm like, what are you like?
It just slips
coming on the streets right now.
It just slips like diarrhea out of your mouth.
It really does, and
it just comes right out.
That is so rude. Can you not do that anymore?
But I do apologize. That was one of my hardest things to admit that I'm sorry. Oh my God. Yeah. But it's like,
but it takes a minute. She has to hold on to that for a little bit to feel good again. Not as much. That's true. But you still get it.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Still like to feel that.
Yeah.
You guys are So
And, you know, it's a very powerful word. To me, it is.
So that's how she justified.
I
Oh, it's
just-
powerful. That's why I told you that, Alicia. It's really powerful.
you're like, no, moving
Yeah,
on.
no,
Just
that's
call
not
me
good.
fruitcake.
No, just call me fruitcake. That's
Yeah.
right. So, but it is, and I think that's why we do help other mothers and daughters, because we're not saying be us.
God, no.
We're saying be you, but learn ways to move through your stuff so you're not projecting all over each
Yeah.
other.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest
It's so
thing.
important.
It's the biggest thing
Yeah,
with
it
any
really is.
relationship. I'm
No,
going
I
to
would
project
agree.
my stuff on you because I don't know what my projections are. So, you know what? Let me throw it on you. You'll
Right.
take it for me.
Right. Yeah, it's not even about Alicia, honestly,
No.
right?
Nope.
Like your reaction to Alicia is about you.
Correct.
So, you know,
Absolutely.
when you tell her to F off,
Yeah,
It's
and
her.
saying it to me.
And I say that. I say, Mom, you know what
It's
you're
true.
saying to yourself
yeah,
again.
exactly. You know what you're saying to yourself. I mean, it's so hard because we're human, right?
I
So it
know.
hurts, right? When someone's like, you know, says anything that's unkind, we
Yeah.
hurt because we're human. And that's the beauty of us, is that we have these beautiful emotions. But
And
if we could just
Yeah.
wrap our head around, this isn't about me. This is
that's
about
right.
you.
And I don't take it, and that's the good news. Whether my mom is affected or I'm affected by my mom, we know it's us.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't
We're
stay in
there.
it long because
No.
we know we have to say,
We have to look at it.
all right, I'm telling
Yeah.
myself to fuck off.
Right,
So I better
exactly.
like get straight with myself. Do I
Yeah.
really want to say that to myself?
Yeah.
Or
It's
whatever
true.
it is, you know.
Yeah,
So
I gotta look back to like
Yeah.
looking in, right? You're like, so
Yeah.
where's this coming from? Like, why is this showing up? And then you're like,
Yeah.
shit, I gotta go deep. I'll be back.
Let me go dive in the deep end. I'll be back later. All right, when I want to
Kids
be
are like,
thorough.
oh, mom, like, please, too much.
But I have to tell you, you know, when I was that age too, I thought my mom was like woo woo, you know, into this stuff. But then I got into my 20s, 22, and I thought, wow, there's something to this.
I'm
So
telling
you
you,
never know.
it's boomerang.
It is. It's going to happen.
They
Absolutely.
have friends come over and they'll be like, oh, your mom does tarot, which by the way, I'm like a total amateur. But like I pull a card on Sunday
Yeah.
for the week, just to sort of like give me a little insight into the week. And you know, the girls will then all of a sudden perk up a little bit. Yeah. Do you want to pull a card?
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you? Because you just
You see?
basically called me a weirdo for doing
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
But
But
then,
there's
you know,
curiosity.
yeah. And so, yeah, I do think, and at the end of the day, whether it's tarot, whether it's crystals, whether it's essential oils, whether it's Palo Santo, whether it's a singing bowl, these are all the things I do.
Right, right.
Whatever the thing is, like I do it just to connect with self. And if I do it to just be grounded. And so
Mhm.
whatever your thing is, it can be lighting a candle, like
Yeah.
just to be in the present.
100%.
It could be reading a beautiful quote. Whatever, looking at a piece of art, whatever that is, that's going to give you that, like, oh, there she is.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
So I want to ask you a question, sidebar from all this.
Yeah.
And that I know we have a couple questions, but one that stands out since we're talking about so many different things and lessons. And what's the biggest lesson you learned about yourself?
Such a great question. And it's one that I ask my clients in working with them, especially with career exploration and transition, is what is the definition of success for you? Like, what does fulfillment and purpose mean to you? And the reason I say that is because I just subscribe to society's expectations. And I didn't look inward. And so I think the biggest lesson, and what I think our schools need to be doing, is we need to have stillness in schools, and we need to teach kids to be able to especially with social media, especially with the accessibility of everything to them, is like they have to really be grounded in self. Like, how important is that?
Yeah.
We know that they're still going to go through adolescence. We know they're still going to be being confronted with some big shit they have to get through. But how much more grounded, I mean, how much, easier or will those situations be if you're more grounded and connected to self? And so I just think I'm a huge believer in my kids, like they'll ask, can I do TikTok or can I have this? And I'm like, all right, only if we implement 5 minutes of stillness a day. And they're like, oh, mom, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, 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 that's irresponsible of me to just give you more time, knowing what this does to you without giving you the tools to actually be able to handle it a
Yeah.
little bit better. And so, yeah, I think that's probably the most important, is that I just wish that I had connected to self earlier and made my own definitions of what success and what purpose and fulfillment meant to me versus subscribing to like what I should be doing.
So again, another question is, what's the one thing that you want people to know about you?
I want people to know that it's possible, that there is unlimited opportunity, there's unlimited potential, there's unlimited hope for each and every one of us. And I want people to know that. I want people to know that that is possible, and that I'm an example of somebody who, again, like if you told me 5 years ago that I would be talking about alignment and connection to self, pulling a tarot card and smudging sage, I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about? Because I've got people to see, places to go, and deals to close. I gotta go. And now I'm like, I can't sit in that space enough. And so I think like, just if I can be a beacon of like inspiration and possibility to somebody, then I'm like, okay, my job is done. Like that to me is the biggest thing. And to note that like there's a lot of shit still on fire over here. So it is a constant evolution. And so I don't ever pretend that I have it figured out or that I am the guru, because you are your own guru, period.
100%.
1,000%. Yes.
Super important to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to your youngest self? I love that question.
It's a really good one. I think the advice I would give is to listen to your heart and to really like it would have been it also it's and to slow down, because you know, yeah, there's one thing for most of us that you've heard your whole life, like whether like one thing that maybe your parents have said your whole life, or like and most people can name it like right away. People could be like, oh yeah, I was always told this, or I was always told that. And my parents, and still to this day, my parents are like, when are you going to slow down? And so I think for me, it's really about really slowing down. And there's a lot there. There's a lot of reasons that people are looking for the next thing. And it's this uncomfortability of sitting in the present, that I just never, there's a lot of things I missed in life that I'm going back and trying to visualize and really remember again, because I missed a lot.
You know, one thing our teacher and mentor, Debbie Ford, always said, you know, if you ever stopped and claimed the moment, you know, because those moments go by so fast, but if you can stop and take a breath and really claim that moment, I think it's like an imprint in your heart.
Yeah. Like if we had my niece here and we had a special moment, we would say, you know, Rachel, we want to claim this moment with you. So we remember this. So what are you going to remember from this moment so that you can 10 years from now actually recall it? And she might say something like, you know, the way that we play a game together, or do you know what I mean? Something that we did, like we did kayaking. So now the ritual is when she's here, we go kayaking. So that's like a moment we claim together. And then we have like this great little place we go on the water called Maya Papaya. And we always get like something to go. And she knows that when she comes here, she's going to have another memory of that.
Yeah.
So we really intentionally claim
the moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to steal that.
Go ahead, Debbie.
It's so
we appreciate
true.
it.
It is.
She
It's
did.
so
She used to
true.
always say that. It was a great
It
one.
is. And, something she said to me when I text her, and it's like she thinks I'm the funniest thing because when they're here,
Rachel. Yeah,
Rachel, when they're here, I do all these skits and with different voices and faces, and then we're hysterical laughing. So those are those precious moments that we all claim together. And to me, again, like I said, it's an imprint in my heart.
Oh, what a special, grandmother, granddaughter moment too,
Yeah.
right? Like, and so important to have those memories. And yeah, I think it's saddens me a bit that there's a lot of memories that I was just too quick and I was rushing through that. But fortunately, we have pictures and I have video and there's a lot of things that I can go back and
Yes.
Exactly. You could reclaim.
Absolutely. You're right.
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Totally
Because
do that.
visualizing things is said to bring up the same emotions as
Yeah.
can bring up, and I believe that. Like I see pictures or videos of my kids or some things, and it really brings me to that moment. If you again allow yourself to claim that moment, to be in that moment, it really is powerful. So yeah, I love that.
And so we're claiming this moment with you,
Yes.
that you go back and reclaim it and let us know how it is.
Yeah.
I love
Hey.
it.
I will for
Definitely.
sure.
It's
Oh,
going to be amazing. We can't wait to
Yeah.
hear. Really.
I will keep you posted.
Please.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one that's fun. What activities in your life light you up and bring you joy to your heart? And that'll be our last question for you because we'll end on a beautiful question like
Happy.
that. Light,
Yeah.
happy. What activities light you up and bring joy to your heart?
Anything where I'm present, where I'm without my phone, I'm without my computer, and typically when I'm moving, and I know that's funny that you just said like you rush, but I like to be in nature. I'm an athlete. I like to be running. I like to be in kayaks. I like to be hiking, and where it's light. There's just I like light where I don't feel like the sense of obligation and responsibility. And so any environment that takes me out of feeling like that and allows me to be present where I can feel the wind on my face, where I can hear the birds, where I can hear the leaves and the trees. Those are like, oh yeah, like the pinch me moments of like, really are able to drink it all in. And I think that just like and whatever I'm doing, right? If I'm traveling, if I'm like, there's so many things I love doing. If I'm at the theater, if I'm at a concert, like as long as I'm there and just like, it can be the super small things like walking in Central Park, which I do every day.
So nice.
Being at a Broadway show and having this experience and just being like, I'm having this experience.
Yeah.
So before we close,
Rachel,
Diana just said,
no,
your retreat. So when is your retreat?
Daybreaker.
Oh, Daybreaker.
I'm like, what's Daybreaker?
Daybreaker.
So your retreat. You already had your retreat, didn't you?
No, my
No,
retreat is, I'll have a couple this year, but my first retreat of the year, the spring retreat, is May. And yes, she's right. We actually have a couple spots left. Maybe there's a spot for a mother-daughter dynamic duo.
Well, my birthday's in May. I'm going to be 50.
Oh my God. Wait, what date in May?
Mine is May 16th.
Okay. And mine is May 3rd.
Oh, my daughter's May 15th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Taurus. You got Tauruses around you, lady.
Little stubborn.
Woohoo.
Oh my God. You nailed that one.
Oh,
yeah. So we have retreats. So again, to support our members, which Di's coming.
Yeah.
And
when is it? May what? May what?
It's May 19th, May 19th weekend, and it's in Vermont.
Great.
In my home state of Vermont.
That's
beautiful. And And Daybreaker, Daybreaker is something that Di and I go to. It's a sober dance party. And so
Ooh, I love it.
this
think that's
event,
what
and
it
they
is.
actually have it nationally, but the people who started it are New Yorkers. And it's in the morning, by the way. So you go at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you do a workout from 6 to 7, and then
Wow.
you do a dance party from like 7 to 10. And
That
I
is
think
so
a friend
cool.
of ours goes.
I think one of our friends that lives in New
Yes.
York goes to that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. Oh, well, you need to connect
Sober.
me with that person, because
I
whoever that
will.
is Di and I's jam, because like,
Mm.
it is like literally my heaven, because I used to be the clubber. Like I love going to clubs. I love a good club. Still to this day, if
I
I'm in
love it.
Miami, my husband's like has to like I'll be like start shaking, like I think I have to go to the club, and he's like, "You're
so
like
funny.
50 almost. Like what are you talking about?" I'm like the club, because I love
Club.
dance, and it's like, and so Daybreaker, you can bring your freak on, and I don't drink, so it's like amazing.
Exactly.
Sober
That's
dance
awesome.
great.
and then
That's
you're home
so
by noon.
great.
And you're home by noon, so it's like,
Oh my God, that's so great. A day party, morning, a real early
Yeah.
morning day.
yeah.
Go
Maybe
to
we'll
town.
have to do that at the retreat, Di. Maybe we have to institute a little like,
Oh, I love dancing.
yeah. In any
That
way,
would be great. Yes.
So now, how do people get to you? What's your, give
How
us
they
your
find you? How can they join your
information.
organization, your
yes, thank
community?
you. So they can find us at the Now NYC is sort of our handle on social, as well as our website's thenownyc.com. And we open up membership the 5th of the month each quarter. So April 5th, we're coming up next month. We're going to be opening up, and we open up membership for 5 days. And so people can come. We have an open house on the 5th. So you can go to our Instagram handle, into our link tree, and there's a link there, and you could RSVP. It's a free digital open house where we have our members show up, and it's like a big party, and we talk about what the community is, and you get a taste of it. And then it's open for 5 days. So you can reach out to me, DM. I read everything, so you can DM, and I'll get back to you if you want to talk specifically. Or you can always email me, which is just Sarah at the Now NYC. So
Awesome.
Fantastic.
easy to get in touch with.
I love
And
it.
and Camille, our
Camille's-
friend, just said, yes,
yes.
dance your butt off.
Yes, Camille, you are
to do
our
that.
spirit, in our spirit tribe, Camille. Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Oh my
Yes,
God, Camille's
yes.
a trip. We love
She's
her.
too much.
She
We
is
love
great.
her.
Okay, so
I
we thank you. We love you.
love you.
Number one.
Love
Yes,
you
that.
too.
Number two, we have to get together
Yes.
live somewhere along the line.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
have
Dynamic
to.
duo. I'm going to send you guys the information about the retreat. I feel
Okay,
like
okay.
it would blow my mind if you came. But anyways, I'm going to send you the
Okay.
information. But no, if that isn't it, then yes, we absolutely
We
do.
have
And you
to.
guys,
Okay,
please
that would
keep
be
doing
cool.
what you're doing. Please keep
Of
putting
course.
this stuff out into this world. It is
And we
so
do.
important.
And we do want to join,
Yeah.
the community, because we're all one.
Right.
Our community, we're all one. So we're happy to be a part of anything and everything.
Yeah, we really
that
are.
you have to do, because you're just a great spirit.
When we met you, there was such a soul connection. It
Mhm.
feels like we know you all
Yeah.
our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I feel
how
that.
fabulous it is. It really is. Same with
Diana.
Diana.
I know,
Same
same thing. It was just like this instant vibe. I mean, she wants Chloe to meet Frankie. I mean, that'll be an interesting thing. He's cute, Frankie, by the way.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
so-
Right?
No,
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure
is.
you
He's
know.
sweet.
And with that bow
He's-
tie, oh my God, and her little bow, forget it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, we're just lucky. And I think that the energy brings people together, right? Like
Yes, it
the
does.
universe has a it's all divine.
Magical. Isn't it
And
magical?
we're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
So there's times where I'm just like, you know what? Like control is a fucking illusion. So
Yeah,
It is.
absolutely.
I'm
I
just
agree.
allow the universe to take me and look at where it takes us. It's
I know.
beautiful.
Yes.
I know.
It
And
is.
if we can all let go, it's a human thing to want to hold on, to want to like know. It's a spirit thing, a soul thing to let go and to not know and to be one.
And that's where the magic happens.
That's it.
When you don't
And it's
know.
uncomfortable a little bit, right?
No,
Like it's
absolutely.
uncomfortable to put that trust
Yeah.
into the universe. But if you have faith, if you can trust yourself,
Yeah.
then It does work itself out.
Yep.
Divine.
So before we
Okay.
close out, I love to read this also at the end. It's called The Holy Elixir.
Right.
And it says, let me be God's alchemist. Let me turn water into wine, mud into gold, and my wounds into wisdom. Let me know a grateful heart.
Mm.
And it says it
I
all.
mean, Debbie Ford, I'll tell you what, she was something.
Yeah.
She was something else.
Beautiful.
I mean,
Yeah,
you would have
really
loved
is.
her, I'll tell you that.
Well, you guys, she obviously had such a beautiful impact on you too. And I'm
She
sure
sure did.
I know that she's, so grateful that you're continuing to share her
Yes.
message with the world and share the
Yeah.
impact she had on you,
Yeah.
right? That's
Oh,
how
God,
you
yeah.
want to
True.
die. You want to die knowing you impacted others.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it
How much
does
money you had
start.
to sink.
Yeah. And it does start. If you can get that foundation with your mother and daughter, oh my God, the world is your oyster. You will recreate the most
Yeah.
beautiful relationships.
Yeah,
So
it really is.
that's what we're here to do.
Shine it up.
Shining your
Shine
light.
the light
All
and
right.
be
I
bright.
love that. Thank
I
you
love
guys
that.
so much. I'm so grateful to be here and to know you and to learn from you and be supported by you. And I hope you feel
100%.
the vibes coming from me too, because I'm here to hold you up.
Ditto.
Thank you.
We
Thank
feel
you.
it.
Thank you. We do.
And
we really do.
we have to do a dance party.
Yes.
And I'm not drinking either. So there you go.
Yes.
I
Yes,
love it. I
Nora,
love
Yes. We don't need the drinking. It's all,
No.
You know what's good? The kombucha. Kombucha.
oh, the kombucha. I brew my own kombucha.
You did?
Get out.
I do.
What kind though? There's all different kinds, right?
There's all different kinds. I'm sort of a purist, so I brew
Mm.
it and then I just do some fresh ginger juice,
Love it.
and I do a little piece of fresh lemon, and then a little piece of ginger, and then I put it in and then it's like tastes like an Arnold Palmer
I
esque.
love it. I
Wow.
love
So
it.
I don't need to get involved with all the other, like lots of
No.
people put the strawberry with this and that, and I just like the purist. I just like
Just
it
give me
pure.
my lemon
I
and
love
my
it.
ginger. I love lemon.
That's it. Lemon and ginger, settle your
Yes.
tongue
I love
and
it.
give it a little flavor with the lemon. So, well, if you
Mhm.
come to, yes, Di, that's why I make my own. She said there's a lot of sugar in kombucha.
There
There's
is.
a lot of
There
sugar.
is.
That's why I
100%.
actually started making it my own. It was purely from that. And also it's really expensive.
Yeah.
So, and it's really easy to make. But that's another reason you should come to the retreat, because I'm bringing my own batch.
Yeah, and I'd love to know how you do it though, because that's
Yeah.
another conversation.
I
don't-
can share. It's
You
very,
can
it's
share?
not hard.
All right. All right.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
for another time.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
All right. We love you.
We love you.
Thank
We
you
thank
for
you.
sharing your heart
Thank
and
you for
your
having me.
love.
And thank you all for coming on and
Yes,
sharing.
Camille, Diana,
We thank
anybody
you.
else watching,
Yes, we
go
love
you.
you.
and get connected to Sarah O'Brien Hammond.
Wow.
And
Thank
you will
you.
not be disappointed.
No, not at all.
You will
Not
be
at all.
in love, just like we are.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, ladies.
We thank
So
you,
enjoy
sweetheart.
your kids.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
enjoy.
love them up.
Yes.
Thank
How
you.
old are they again? How old are they?
12, soon to be 13, and 14,
Oh,
soon to
wow.
be 15.
Woo!
Buckle up, ladies. Buckle up.
Buckle up, baby.
You're on the ride of your life.
Amen. Amen to that.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
send
Thank
you
you,
love
sweetheart.
and
Thank
sleep
you.
well.
Yes.
You too. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, wow. That is so cool.